The history of pirates is filled with legendary treasures, vast fortunes hidden in remote locations, waiting to be discovered. One of the most famous pirates of the early 18th century, Captain William Kidd, had a treasure that remains lost to this day. Captain Kidd, a former privateer turned pirate, sailed across the Caribbean and the Indian Ocean in search of riches. Born in England in 1645, Kidd was originally commissioned by the British government to hunt down pirates and protect British trade routes. But over time, Kidd became more and more disillusioned with his mission and began to turn to piracy himself. It was a dangerous decision that would eventually lead him to a life on the run. Kidd's most famous ship, the Adventure Galley, was a fast and heavily armed vessel, and during his piracy years he captured several valuable ships. His most famous capture was the Quetta Merchant, a wealthy Armenian vessel. The ship, laden with treasure, was intercepted in the waters near the Indian Ocean. It was said to have a vast amount of gold and silver, as well as other precious commodities, including silks and rare spices. After a successful raid, Kidd buried a portion of his treasure on the island of Gardner's Island, located off the coast of New York. The location was chosen because of its strategic importance and its proximity to Kidd's base of operations along the American East Coast. But Kidd's career took a tragic turn. In 1790, after his raid on the Quetta Merchant, Kidd was betrayed by his own crew. His mutiny led to his capture by the British Navy, where he was tried for piracy and murder. Kidd was sentenced to death, but his treasure remained elusive. Despite numerous searches, including one by Barry Clifford in the early 20th century, no substantial treasure has been found on Gardner's Island. Some believe that the treasure Kidd buried on Gardner's Island has long since been moved or relocated elsewhere along the coasts of the Caribbean or North America, possibly hidden in caves or buried under layers of shifting sands. The mystery surrounding Kidd's fortune continues to intrigue treasure hunters who believe that it could still be out there, waiting to be uncovered. Others think that Kidd's treasure could still lie somewhere on the coast of Madagascar, where the pirates spent time hiding out from the British Navy. Madagascar was a haven for pirates during the 17th century, and many famous pirates, including Henry Avery, Thomas Tew, and John Augur, were known to have operated in the area. Many treasure hunters have scoured the jungles of Madagascar, hoping to find the legendary hoards hidden there. However, despite their best efforts, no substantial discoveries have been made. The mystery of Kidd's treasure remains one of the most enduring pirate legends of all time. Pirates and privateers of the early 19th century are often overshadowed by the giants of the golden age of piracy. Yet Jean Lafitte remains a figure of significant mystery and intrigue. Lafitte was a French-born pirate and smuggler who operated in the Gulf of Mexico and the Mississippi Delta. Born around 1670, Lafitte is said to have first appeared in the New World as a privateer under the authority of the Spanish, operating out of the port of New Orleans. However, Lafitte's true allegiance was to himself. He quickly established a powerful smuggling operation, which evolved into piracy. His criminal empire spanned the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, and even parts of Central America. Lafitte was a master of cunning and deception. His ships were sleek, fast, and well-armed, and his crew was fiercely loyal. Lafitte's most famous base of operations was Barataria Bay, located just south of New Orleans, which he used as a hidden stronghold. From here, Lafitte and his band of pirates launched raids on Spanish and American ships, amassing wealth in gold, silver, and other valuable goods. However, Lafitte wasn't just a pirate, he was also an astute businessman. During the War of 1812, he offered his services to the United States in exchange for amnesty, and he played a crucial role in the defense of New Orleans during the famous Battle of New Orleans against the British. This earned him a pardon, and Lafitte was officially absolved of his pirate past. But after the war, Lafitte's career as a pirate came to an end. However, Rumors persisted that he had buried part of his vast fortune in various locations along the Gulf Coast. Many believe that Lafitte hid his treasure in the swamps and marshlands of Louisiana, a region that he knew well. The area around Galveston Island, Texas, where Lafitte spent a significant amount of time, is often cited as a potential location for his buried treasure. It is said that Lafitte himself often visited Grande Terre Island off the coast of Louisiana, and that treasure may be hidden there. The search for Lafitte's treasure has spanned generations, but despite numerous expeditions, no substantial findings have been made. Some believe that Lafitte's fortune was divided up and hidden in various places throughout the Gulf Coast, making it even more difficult to locate. One of the more popular theories is that Lafitte hid treasure on Vermilion Bay, near Bayou Teche in Louisiana, an area that was often used by pirates for smuggling and hidden activities. Additionally, there are reports of treasure hunters finding signs that lead to Lafitte's buried riches. In the early 20th century, a man named Eugene L. Wiegand claimed to have found a map leading to Lafitte's treasure. He spent many years searching along the Gulf Coast, but no definitive discovery has ever been made. Today, the treasure of Jean Lafitte remains one of the most sought-after riches of the Gulf, with treasure hunters still searching for it to this day. The Spanish Main refers to the coastal regions of the Americas that were controlled by Spain during the 16th and 17th centuries. The term itself is synonymous with wealth, as it was the path of countless treasure fleets that sailed across the Atlantic, laden with gold, silver, and jewels plundered from the New World. These fleets, known as the Spanish treasure fleets, were prime targets for pirates throughout the golden age of piracy. The treasure fleets carried vast fortunes of precious metals and jewels back to Spain from its colonies in the Americas. One of the most famous pirate attacks on a Spanish treasure fleet occurred in 1733, when the pirate Charles Vane captured a Spanish galleon, the Santa Maria, off the coast of Hispaniola. This galleon, which had been carrying treasure back to Spain, was loaded with gold, silver, and precious gemstones. Vane's attack was swift and successful, and he was able to seize the entire treasure hold. However, Vane's success was short-lived, as he was eventually betrayed by his own crew and captured by the British Navy. Despite this, the story of Charles Vane's treasure endures. Many believe that Vane buried part of his treasure on one of the islands in the Caribbean Sea. The treasure could still lie hidden beneath the sands of Hispaniola, Cuba, or Jamaica, waiting to be rediscovered by a lucky adventurer. Some historians believe that the treasure might even be buried in the Bahamas, as Vane was known to frequent the area during his raids. The search for Vane's treasure has led to several expeditions, but so far no substantial treasure has been found. Another legendary pirate of the Spanish Main, Sir Henry Morgan, is best known for his daring and successful raids against Spanish possessions in the Caribbean. Born in Wales in 1645, Morgan was a ruthless privateer who became infamous for his attacks on Spanish settlements and ships. His most famous conquest was the sack of Panama in 1735, which resulted in immense plunder, including gold, silver, and other precious treasures. Morgan's raids on Panama, along with his successful attacks on other Spanish strongholds such as Portobelo, were instrumental in establishing his reputation as one of the most successful pirates of his era. Though Morgan's treasure was said to have been buried or hidden in remote parts of Panama, no definitive discovery has ever been made. Some believe that the riches he plundered from the Spanish are still hidden in the jungles of Panama, while others argue that they were carried off to other parts of the Caribbean and buried on remote islands such as Tortuga or Hispaniola. Regardless of the actual location, the treasure of the Spanish Main remains one of the most legendary hoards still sought after today. One pirate whose treasure remains elusive is Captain Thomas II, an English privateer turned pirate who sailed the Indian Ocean and the waters around the Red Sea in the late 17th century. Known for his daring exploits, Tew became famous for capturing a huge fortune when he took a ship carrying gold and other valuables from India to the Arabian Peninsula. After an encounter with a Mughal Empire vessel, he became one of the richest pirates of the time. However, Tew's fate was not as fortunate. He was killed in battle against the forces of the Mughal Empire, and his treasure was never fully recovered. Some believe that Captain Tew buried his fortune somewhere along the shores of Madagascar or East Africa. Others argue that his treasure was hidden on the island of Seychelles, known for its connection to pirates of the time. Despite the many expeditions mounted to find Tew's treasure, no substantial discoveries have been made. Captain Bartholomew Roberts is one pirate whose treasure remains elusive. Known as the most successful pirate of the golden age of piracy, Roberts sailed the Caribbean, the American East Coast, and even the West African coast, capturing hundreds of ships. His reign of terror lasted from 1712 until his death in 1722. Roberts's fortune was said to include gold, silver, and precious jewels. But like many other pirates, much of his treasure was never recovered. His death during a battle with the British Navy off the coast of West Africa marked the end of his reign. But Roberts's treasure, hidden somewhere on the coasts of South America or perhaps buried on remote islands, remains one of the great mysteries of pirate lore. Many treasure hunters still search for Roberts' fortune to this day. And then there is Captain Samuel Bellamy, a pirate so daring that he became known as the Prince of Pirates. Born in 1712 in England, Bellamy was known for his swashbuckling raids along the American East Coast. His most famous prize was the ship Whydah, a heavily armed slave ship that he captured off the coast of New England in 1722. The Whydah was not only valuable for its weapons and crew, but it was also loaded with a massive treasure of gold, silver, and jewels. However, in 1723, a violent storm sank the Whydah, and much of the treasure went to the ocean floor with it. While a portion of the treasure was recovered in the 1980s, most of it remains lost. The search for Bellamy's treasure continues to this day, with treasure hunters focusing on the shores of Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and even Nantucket. Some believe Bellamy buried part of his fortune on these islands, but to date, no significant finds have been made. Captain Henry Avery, the so-called King of Pirates, was another pirate whose fortune remains unclaimed. Avery is famous for capturing the Ganj-i-Sawai, a massive Mughal treasure ship in 1794. Avery's raid was one of the most successful in pirate history, and he was rumored to have taken a vast fortune from the ship, including gold, silver, and jewels. However, Avery disappeared without a trace after the raid, and his treasure was never recovered. Some believe Avery buried his loot on the coast of Madagascar, while others speculate that it is hidden somewhere in the Caribbean islands. Despite years of searching, Avery's treasure remains one of the greatest mysteries in pirate lore. These pirate treasures, along with countless others, remain lost to history, concealed for centuries on distant shores and uncharted islands. Buried in secret locations or hidden with careful intention, few clues have survived to point the way to their resting places. Yet these fortunes still wait, untouched and ready to be uncovered, perhaps by someone like you. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the story, please give it a like. For lots more treasure stories, subscribe to Treasure Quest TV and hit the notification button to never miss a new video.